Uh, I feel so bloated today. I literally look like I'm 4 months pregnant, and I could not be more abstinent. Hey, what's up? We're here for another round of Indian stuff. Y'all listening to this, it's just the best. Thank you for doing that. We're close to making, a single cent on this show, but that's not what I'm doing it for, okay? I'm doing it for you. For me, because it's a little cathartic, it's fun to process life, but also for you. So, yes, I like talking into the void. I like when you leave a little comment. I love it when you subscribe and tell your friends that I had something half decent to say. Chef's kiss, keep it going. What's up? So today I wanted to kind of just, first of all, recap life. It's been a minute since I've given some personal updates. Let's see, big things. Swag 2, the counterpart album to Swag, the Justin Bieber album, has just dropped, and I personally really digging it. I thought it was a lot of fun. He low-key starts preaching at the end. He was reading a creative excerpt of Genesis. It was beautiful. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. Pop culture, Sabrina Carpenter's new album. It's okay. It's okay. There's a couple bops on there. I really like the Go-Go Juice one's kind of fun. And the other one I can't even think about. I don't really like Tears. I don't really like Man-Child either. I really didn't like most of the songs on the album. There's 2 of them that I was like, that's a good song. I'm obsessed with Chappell Roan's song Subway. That's amazing. Her vocal control. If I could sing like that, I wouldn't shut up. I mean, I still pretend like I can sing like that. I cannot sing like that. She's got some really, she's got a way. See, I can't. It's not good. Pop culture. Oh, Taylor and Travis got engaged. We talked about it. I had a whole episode just on that. That's huge. It's a lot of fun. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're not going to waste any more time. This isn't the NFL. We don't need to talk about Taylor Swift again. Personally, I feel bloated, but I have been going to Pilates, so I shouldn't feel bloated, but I'm about to start my period, so that's probably why. I have been doing Pilates for about 2 months now. Yay me! And it's been pretty good. I really have been enjoying it. I do a reformer class, and then I do one cardio class every week. So I'm only going twice a week, which I'm like, I wish I could kind of upgrade my package, but it's so dang expensive. People said Pilates was expensive. I didn't know it was this expensive, but it's been a lot of fun. And I think it's been really helping me feel strong again in my body. So that's been cool. But I also I don't know. It's just weird to feel like you're working out more than you ever have. You're eating healthier than you ever have. There's more organic and less processed foods than ever. You're drinking more water than ever. And then I also work weddings where I'm on my feet 10 to 20 hours per weekend. And for some reason, you're not losing any weight. I don't know. It's I want to be a healthy weight, and I think that I genuinely am. But personally, I also have goals with my physical appearance, and to be dang, why is this an uphill battle? It's very annoying. But anyway, I don't know if the food's poisoning us. Is RFK right? I don't think he's right. I think he's half right. I think behind every lie is a half truth. We don't need to talk about all that. Other personal updates. Well, speaking of me trying to be healthy, we eat ramen a lot in this household. But before you at me, we call it fancy ramen because it is fancy ramen. What we do is usually do the Shin brand. We use maybe half or 3/4 of the packet, so it's a little less sodium. And then we add fancy stuff to the broth to make it a little healthier, but also just really, really yummy, kind of restaurant style ramen. I think it's better than restaurant style ramen. I'm talking about peanut butter, chives, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of ginger, a little bit of miso paste, a little bit of curry. What else do we add? Sesame seeds, maybe a touch of soy sauce, rice vinegar, a pinch of sugar or a little maple syrup to sweeten it, hot sauce, lime juice, cilantro. I go all out for my ramen, okay? And I made some recently because I was trying to save money and eat healthy at home, healthy-ish at home. Soup is not unhealthy to me, listen. And I wanted to get fancy with it. And I added an egg, which is something I normally do for a little protein. And I added a handful of kale. And we'd gone to the farmer's market the week before and I got some fresh kale and it was like $5 for a bundle, which is kind of silly because you could go to the grocery store and get it for like $1.50. But I was like, no, I'm going to support a farmer. I'm going to go to the farmer's market and it's okay if I pay more because we're just, supporting local business. So I did, and it wasn't that old and it wasn't brown looking, and I rinsed it off and I washed it and everything. And I plopped it in my ramen while it was on the stovetop, finished cooking it and poured everything in the bowl, took a couple bites, and then double checked my food. And I put, again, a lot of things in there. There's a lot of little spices and toppings, but I noticed there was like a lot of black things floating in the ramen. I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't remember this having like this many things, but I didn't think too much of it. Took a couple bites, like probably 5 or 6 bites. And then I like went and kind of looked closer. And I was like, is that like a leg of an insect? And sure enough, all the black specks were teeny tiny gnats or bugs of some sort that I believe were on the kale leaves. It was disgusting. It was disturbing. I was very sad. I threw out the whole bowl of food. Then I turned around and made myself another one without kale. That's what I get for trying to be healthy, okay? I tried to add vegetables to my soup. Ruined. Whole night, ruined. Anyway, okay, what else? I took my cat to the airport last night. Super fun. If you're ever bored in Ohio, what do? You take your cat to the airport. Ian was out of town for work. He was filming something in Texas this week and he needed a ride home from the airport. So I was like, oh, I'll get you. It was like 10:30 at night. But then I was like, this would be extra fun if I brought one of the kids. So I put Noom in our carrying case. And she hated it. She was like, why are we going on a road trip? What's happening? Like, she was not having it. But then she loves to ride in the car if she's in someone's lap. I just didn't feel comfortable with her doing that while I was driving. So I put her in the cage and then we got there and he was so surprised to see her. I'll put a little picture here. It was so cute. And then she sat on his lap on the drive home. And it was precious and perfect. And this is what we do because we're crazy. But we were also hungry and hadn't had dinner yet. And I was like, hey, like, let's not cook. Let's go through the drive-thru somewhere. See, I was talking about, I swear we don't eat out much. So we swung through Burger King because it's close to our house. We were both craving burgers, but Ian does Impossible Whoppers because of the texture. Like, when you get a gristle in your burger and it just kind of ruins the whole thing. Both of us feel this way. I can eat burgers like normal. If I get a gristle, it's like, okay, that's annoying, but it's not going to ruin my night. For Ian, he's just like, please no. Like, he doesn't do sausage or burgers or anything that could have that texture, which I totally understand because it just does kind of ruin the whole dish. So we went to Burger King because we like to order the Impossible Whopper there because they use soy-based meat for the patties. So we go through the drive-thru, place our order. They give us the total. They don't say anything weird. We pull up to pay and we're like going to surprise the lady with a cat on our lap. We're like, hey, do you like cats? And she was like, oh, we don't have Impossible Whoppers. That was not the right impression. It was more like Gen Z bored. She was like, so we actually don't have Impossible Whoppers. And I was like, okay, but you literally just rang us up for them. That's weird. Can you just cancel our order? Like, that's kind of why we came. We don't want like a normal patty or anything. And she was like, oh, 1 second. And I was like, what do you mean 1 second? Like, we haven't paid. Can you just literally cancel the order? Like, we could just drive away. And she was calling for a manager to come over and see if the manager could cancel the order, if that was like allowed. And I was like standing there and I was like, what? Well, sitting there with the cat on my lap. Anyway, she was like, oh, okay, so I guess because you didn't pay, you don't need to cancel anything. I was like, no, duh. Like, okay, that's a different rant for a different day. I don't mean to be mean, but sometimes Gen Z in the service industry is truly giving like, we don't know anything. And also, you don't deserve my basic attention. I don't know what it is, but when you're like trying to sit at a restaurant, they act so bored, like you're the biggest inconvenience. Like we had a reservation at a restaurant and I walk in and they're just kind of like, yeah. You're like, hi, I have a reservation. It's for 8:30 with 2 people. And they were like, okay. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I'm sure every generation looks the one prior and goes like, where are the manners? But recently it's been so blatantly obvious. Like another example, ordering a coffee at Starbucks. I feel like I'm the one saying, hi, how are you? You know, they're just kind of standing there like bored and staring at the register. And then you come up and they're like, can I get you something? And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to order a $7 latte, please. So I can stay awake today and feel something in my soul again. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what mix of like COVID era babies and being born after 9/11, but something's in the water with the Gen Zers and it makes me feel infinitely uncool, like I'm the problem, and also like take all my money so that you don't think that I suck all at once. And it's awful. It's just the weirdest feeling. Okay, we leave for Portugal in a week, guys. I'm not ready. All right, well, let's get into That was the longest intro of absolutely nothing. Welcome to the show. Do you ever get excited for like what you're gonna make for dinner like later? Because I do, and I have to go shoot an engagement session after this. But then when I come home, it is a Friday night in this household. It's just me tonight. I'm gonna do a frozen thin crust DiGiorno's pizza. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno's. I'm going to have either a glass of wine or a homemade margarita. I'm gonna watch a rom-com and I'm gonna be in bed early. It's gonna be great, can't wait. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to having my pizza all day. I love a frozen pizza, honestly. Speaking of like, yeah, food, everything. We tried to order some pizzas for some friends the other night. 3 pizzas. I picked them up. The total was $55. I was like, when did pizza get this expensive? I'm picking it up. No delivery, no tip. Like, that just felt crazy. We went out with my family to eat pizza at a restaurant. We ordered 3 pizzas. We split the bill in half with my dad and us, because Ian was just feeling very generous, apparently. And I looked at our bill after and I was like, whoa, did they like overcharge us? It was 3 pizzas and like 1 appetizer of like mott sticks or something. Everyone got water. I think maybe 2 people ordered like Sprite or soda or iced tea or something like that. The bill was $75. I think before tip. Before tip. And that was like split. So the total bill was somewhere around $140, $150. For 3 pizzas and some mott sticks, I was like, that's it, guys. That's it. I'm never eating out again. I can't do it anymore. And I'm feeling overwhelmed. We need to stay focused. The Summer I Turned Pretty. No, it's not a memoir about me having a glow up post high school, although I do think I need to write one. It's been a show. It's on Amazon Prime. I think it's based off of a book by Jenny Han. I don't want to misquote that. I'll send a fact checker on it. But it's one of those shows that came out like a couple years ago, and then there's a season 2 last year. And so this summer has been the 3rd season of The Summer I Turned Pretty. I guess there are 3 books, so it's been following each book, and after this one, that'll be it, as far as we know. I have not watched the show until this summer, so I had seen ads for it, but I didn't think we paid for Amazon Prime, and then I realized we did because it came with our Prime account or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's on my list to watch. And then all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, like I knew people were watching it, but then all of a sudden this summer, like 2025 summer, it got a lot of traction. Everyone was talking about it. I saw it on Instagram all the time. I was seeing my friends post about it. I was like, okay, I don't want FOMO. Like, I want to see what's up. So I start season 1 and instantly I just get the vibe of like, oh, okay, it's like one of those shows. Now, I don't want to be critical. If this is your favorite show on the planet, That's awesome. It's totally fine. Critically speaking, it's not going to be winning any Emmys. I don't think it's going to be winning any awards. I don't think the editing, the writing, the casting, the acting is going to be anything that goes down in history as like, this is cinematic gold, especially when you compare it to more, I think like more, I don't want to say cinematic is the right word because it's not, but more highbrow storytelling like Severance or Ozark or any of those kind of dramatic, more intentionally shot, written, produced kind of things, right? We're not trying to do an above and beyond artistic message. This is one of those shows. It's basically a longer rom-com for the masses, right? It's based on a romance novel, coming of age, teenagers turned into college-aged kids. That's what it's about. So with that, I kind of was like, okay, like it's not one of the shows I have to pay attention to every scene. Sometimes the scenes are a little too long or the pauses are a little awkward or you're like, this could have used a big edit or a major rewrite. Some of the acting is a little cheesy, especially in season 1, and some of it just feels a little juvenile. And maybe it's supposed to because it is about high schoolers kind of having this moment where they've been going to this beach house every single summer and they visit their friends and their family friends. And all of a sudden, like around 16, 17 years of age, the youngest girl of the group starts to hit puberty and become attractive to her, family friends that are these attractive boys. So that's kind of the premise. I feel like I would just like watch season 1 in the background, which is what I do with a lot of my shows that I'm not deeming as highbrow cinema. I'm not paying full attention to it. It's a background show to me. It's similar to like Friends, Arrested Development, New Girl, How I Met Your Mother. Those are all kind of like, it's on in the background. I can pay attention to it, but I don't need to be like glued to the screen, locked in, because something with the plot is huge, dramatic, and shifting. Those are a little more like background shows, comfort shows. I might edit some photos, might fold some laundry, and they're on in the background. So that's how I approached season 1. That was my first impression of it. I could get into it a little. The characters, they need some work. The first season characters, I was not very impressed with Laurel, who played, like, that's the mom's character name in the show. I don't actually know the actor's name. I just feel like as a character, every other thing she was saying was just like, just not something a mom would say. For example, the kids are all 16. So it's like Laurel and her best friend, Susanna, they grew up together. They're besties since college. They have kids now. And every summer they'd go to this like fancy summer house somewhere in the Hamptons or on the beach at this fictional beach called Cousins Beach. And they've been sharing this house for years. And so they had kids and their kids grew up together. So Laurel is the mom of 2 16 and 17-year-old kids. Belly and Steven. And I hate that the protagonist's name is Belly. Her full name's Isabella, but I'm like, please, could we just call her Bella? Why is it Belly? She's named after the organ that processes food. Anyway, so Laurel has these 2 kids, and the kids are like, hey, we're gonna go hang out with some friends. We're gonna go to this high school party. And Laurel's like, have fun. Like, okay, that's fine. Parents allow their kids to go have fun, I think. But then they literally come home and are hungover the next morning. And Steven, who is 17 years old, Laurel's son, is like hungover and makes a joke about it at breakfast. And she's like, would you like me to make you some hangover food? I can make you some eggs. It really cures an upset stomach. I was like, in what universe is a mom of a 17-year-old chill, doesn't even reprimand the drinking, and instantly goes for like, oh, you're hungover? Let me make you some eggs. Girl, please, what is happening? So yeah, my overall consensus instantly was like, okay, none of this is real. This was obviously written because the parents are not strict enough. In season 2, there's an instance where the big summer house where they've always been going is no longer going to be in the family, and we have to sell it. And then the kids are trying to convince their family member, their aunt, who is in financial distress, divorced, widowed, whatever. She's in financial distress. And they're like, Don't sell it, Aunt Julia, because we have memories here. I'm like, they need the money. This is a multi-million-dollar piece of prime real estate on a fictional beach in like the Hamptons. No, she's not going to just give you the house because you have memories. This woman has a mortgage to pay. Like, you cannot just expect that. So anyway, obviously it's not realistic. And I think it's hard for me to get into shows truly that are not like actually realistic. But again, I wanted to press on. I wanted to give it a go, and I want to like talk about it. I want to see what everyone else likes about it. And I love a good rom-com too. So I started watching it, kept going. Season 1 was just fine. Basically, the premise is Belly, the main character, cannot choose between the two brothers, Jeremiah Fisher or Conrad Fisher. Conrad Fisher is the obviously way more attractive young Leonardo DiCaprio looking one who dresses sometimes like a little slutty father. And he's got his silly little watch on, and it's very handsome and attractive. And so it's like, obviously you're gonna go for Conrad. She's been crushing on him her entire life. But for some gosh darn reason, she's like, or maybe I'll just date his little brother, who we don't like. His name's Jeremiah. He's just fine, but there's nothing over the top awesome about Jeremiah. He never blinks an eye at her. He's apparently a bisexual character. And by the time she finally hits puberty at 16, he gives her a second glance. And when she realizes she can't have older brother Conrad, she's like, well, fine, I'll just settle for Jeremiah. Like, I'm supposed to believe that that's okay. Anyway, I can't get on my high horse today. Then there's a side plot with her best friend, Taylor, and her brother, Steven. I personally love these two together. I think Taylor, the actress who plays her, I need to also fact check her name because she's one of the saving graces of the entire show. She's one of the best actresses I've seen in a while. Her and Sarah Weiner from Ginny and Georgia, both phenomenal. When you play a best friend in a movie or a show, ooh, you're doing good. She's doing a great job. I can see her emotions. She presents her lines eagerly and with so much believability. There's one specific scene in season 3 where she's at the hospital and this actress cries, sobs, but also holds it back. Like it's the most perfect delivery of emotion I've seen on TV in a long time. It was raw, it was honest, it didn't feel like someone was telling her action. Like, it was beautifully done. And I'm like, keep going, keep going. But then fictionally, her character Taylor and Belly's brother Steven are kind of like on again, off again kind of fling. So there's lots of little subplots going on. Then the parents, you're watching them fall in love, fall out of love, get divorced, get married. So overall, it's definitely supposed to be like romance, slow burn drama, teen coming of age kind of genre. Season 1 was all right. Season 2, I kind of enjoyed the pacing of, but the overall plot was a little silly pants for me. And then season 3, now we're caught up. Now it's summer of 2025. I finally caught up with the rest of the world. I start watching it to hear, what the hype is about. We're a couple episodes in, and I'm catching up with some of the girls that I know watch the show. And I'm just, again, thinking this is like fine, but like, who's taking this that seriously? This is obviously a silly little show. People in my life are taking this so seriously that it's all they talk about, all they post about, all they want to discuss in person. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it's not a bad thing. Like, again, I think it's fun. It's pure, innocent fun. You're allowed to enjoy something. I was just like, dang, okay, let's do it. So I'm trying to hop in on the conversation with them and treat it a little more seriously, watch it a little more intentionally. And while I'm doing so, I'm noticing something about the whole thing. Season 3's plot starts to pick up. Apparently, as of today's date, we're like off the book now. I guess the books have ended at this point where we are in the show, and they added extra like episodes that go past the book. So we really don't know how it's all going to end. We don't know what's up next. We're just like along for the ride. But I'm noticing something shifting within friend groups and culture in my corner of the social media internet with this show. And it's that every single person who's into The Summer I Turned Pretty as a show is talking about it, tweeting about it, posting about it, talking about the next episode, putting out theories, making TikToks, texting about it, calling each other about it, having watch parties planning the next watch party. People in New York that I know are going to bars to watch it, and the bar will change all the TVs to the next episode the day that it drops. And I think that's huge. And you might not think that that sounds huge to you. You're like, okay, so people are interested in a show, like brand new. I think what it's doing is bringing people together in a way that we haven't seen from television since streaming started. Now, in the past couple years, we've noticed a huge shift with streaming. Obviously, things like Stranger Things on Netflix. Bridgerton also brought a ton of people together. Severance might be the next thing I can think of. But what these shows did was create a little bit of a cult following, use trends and social media to really build up hype around the show, but then drop all the episodes on one day, or half the episodes on one day, half 2 months later kind of thing. So when you do that, what you've basically done to the viewer is say, hey, this new show is out. Don't you want to watch it? Doesn't it look big and shiny because we told you about it on social media? You should watch it. And then everyone binges it within sometimes days. Like, I remember we watched Stranger Things season 4 in a matter of 4 or 5 days, when that took 2 or 3 years to make from concept to final edit getting exported. And on one hand, as a consumer, I'm happy because I'm instantly gratified, right? I'm really interested in the show. I'm along for the plot. I like that I can just go through it at my own pace, and I will, because I will be binging it because it's so addictive that you watch one episode and want to know the next. You do not hit out of the Netflix bubble. When it says next episode, you're like, yeah, I'm watching the next episode. But what it's done is also cheapen the art and the value and what it takes to make something like that. When you've worked on something for 3 to 5 years of your life, and then within a matter of 2 or 3 days, it's gone, and the viewer's instantly like, okay, when's the next season out? Okay, when's the next episode? What's next? I want it. Can I have it? It has fed the beast of instant gratification in the wake of COVID and everything at home and streaming services taking over the industry, that as much of it is like helpful as a consumer, it's also harmful as a whole, which is a theme we're seeing a lot in society right now. And so I don't think it's been the best thing overall. It's made me want to go back a little bit and say, actually, I don't want on-demand everything all at once. I kind of prefer sitting in a hotel and flipping through the channels of cable and finding something that's on and planning my night around when I know the next episode is going to drop, and having the point of my whole spiel today, a communal experience. Rolling it back to The Summer I Turned Pretty. That's what I think has happened here. I mentioned Severance as well because I think that was something that has done it similarly. I just don't think it has as big of a cult following as The Summer I Turned Pretty, probably because it's a little more fancy pants, highbrow, or even if it does have the following, I don't know if I'm seeing as much in the pop culture circle. The Summer I Turned Pretty hits a huge wide net of young adults and adult female audiences and some male audiences. But what it's done is start to reintroduce the communal experience of watching television together, talking about it, calling your friends, planning a watch night for the next episode. I think that's a big deal. I think that's so unique that we're having bars and restaurants and event spaces say, hey, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. when the next episode drops of The Summer I Turned Pretty, we're going to be showing it. Buy your tickets, come together. You'll see the girls like together, screaming, crying, getting excited. I think that's pretty big. Again, I don't want to say this is the only show that's been doing the single episode every week release. I think things like The Bachelor has still done that, even though it's on streaming now. I think it's on Hulu. The Kardashians, like Hulu shows, Apple TV Plus shows have done it. And now this is Amazon Prime doing it, which I think they've done with a couple other shows, if I'm not mistaken, like The Walking Dead and stuff. But what I'm saying is, and what I'm getting at is, I think this is getting down to a deeper topic of conversation where we might want to backpedal on a couple things. I can save this whole spiel for another day, but the more AI, the faster the production, the quicker the turnaround, and the more freedom you're giving the consumer. I think overall, we need an institution, we need higher voices to say, I'm going to choose to go the slower route for the better overall sake of the outcome. It's not as shiny. Of course, when I finish an episode, I want to see the next one, but I would rather take the long road of waiting, savoring, contemplating, analyzing, discussing, chatting, having friendship, having a communal experience, feeling like a girl, having girlhood over this silly little show about a love triangle gone so silly, it's not even funny. Then I would just have the instant gratification of watching something all on my own within a couple days of time, and then being left to just going about my life as normal. Maybe I'll text a few friends, but when I text a few friends after binging multiple seasons, what I'm doing is saying, oh yeah, it was good, I guess. And then you might mention 2 or 3 plot lines that you remembered. But you're only going to remember the ending and how it made you feel. You're not going to remember the process, the middle. What about that first episode? Could you believe that line of dialogue? Oh my gosh, I love when they use that song in this episode. That scene was crazy. You're not going to have that, because it's similar to like when people watch a movie, they leave the theater and they talk about the movie, but they know how it ended, right? They've seen the whole piece of art and now they're discussing it in finality, but they don't get to talk about the process. When you're on set and you're making a movie, my cat is playing right next to the tripod. Sokka, please. When you're making a movie, every moment you are processing what's happening. You're talking about the script, you're talking about the set, you're talking about the costumes, you're talking about the props, you're talking to the actors, you're making something in real time and you're analyzing it as it's going. And when you're sitting in the editing room over the editing shoulder of your husband, if you're me, you're saying, well, was this take better or that one? Well, what about this line of dialogue? I like the way this was delivered. That coloring looks a little better. There's a process to it that makes it so much stronger. And the people who are involved in every step of the way have a richer experience than the ones who just get to taste the final product and then go about their lives. Does that make sense? Am I just rambling? Probably. But yeah, I think it gets at something deeper. I think I'm really struggling as we're seeing so much political unrest, so much deinstitutionalization, so much anti this, anti that, so much uncertainty with AI. It's not even funny. That I think small things like this remind us of what's real, and having people come together to root for Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah is just something that's like, wow, remember when we used to like plan our weeknight around when America's Got Talent was airing? Like, I miss cable TV. I miss the slowness. I miss what it did. I miss how it formed us. And it's a little concerning that if we don't get people with strong ethics and morals in these places of power and leadership, I just fear what it'll do in the future. And I hate to do another ending of a podcast where I'm like, wow, I'm afraid. But genuinely, I keep thinking back to watching WALL-E not too long ago for the first time and seeing the floating chubby people in space with every screen in front of them, the ability to order any food they wanted immediately, not even having to get up, lift a finger, get out of their seat, and being able to watch anything they wanted to at any pace, any season, any time, any episode on demand. And yeah, it's a fictional show, but we are getting closer and closer and closer to WALL-E world every day. And I don't want to leave that kind of world for the next generation, because it does something to slow down. It forms you in a better way. And I think the process is always going to be better than the product. But when the product can enrich our lives and create community and conversation and innocent fun, I think that's worth something. So that's all I had today. Was it too much of a bummer again? I'm trying to get better at this. I'm not trying to bum you out, but we can fix the world if we try. Thanks for listening. Team Conrad forever. Connie baby forever. Love you guys. Bye. And if you're Team Jeremiah, leave a comment so I can cyberbully you.